So today I am going to be tackling one of the outdoor spigots on the side of the house that's basically been leaking for a while, and my wife warned me about it, but of course, like most stupid husbands, I didn't listen. So today my plan is I've already done my pre-evaluation to try to figure out the best way to fix this thing. The way the previous homeowner hooked it up is the cold water line coming up from the crawl space actually comes up underneath the kitchen sink, and he put a T on it to split it off, and then it comes out of the house probably about 6-7 inches. So I had to figure out what he did so that I can figure out how the best way to fix this. Thankfully, what he did was, if you look at it here, you can see that there's actually copper. So the way he did this is, so my plan is to cut it here, right on the edge of this old spigot, because this thing here is all rusted out and no good. I can't even get the screw off. So I'm going to cut it off as close as I can to this portion right here. And then I'm going to clean this up and then solder on a new connection, and hopefully that'll solve my issues. Make sure you shut off the water to the house. Like for me, I have to go out into the yard because there's a underground area where I have to shut the main water off. There's no main shut off in the crawl space. I don't know why they didn't do that, but they didn't. Maybe one day I'll put one in. But anyway, that's where we're at. So sit tight and watch me do this. Like I said, I already shut the water off. One other thing too, if you are shutting the water off to your house, if you have an upstairs, the best practice is to open up the valves, like turn on the shower and the sinks in your upstairs bathrooms. This kind of releases the pressure and lets the water drain out once you start opening valves. So if you look here, there's hardly any water coming out. Or at least it's just finishing up, getting to the point where there's no more. Have to excuse my wife's gardening stuff. Okay, by looking at this, it looks like this was one of those cold water, or not cold water, but where it actually closed the valve inside the thing. I'm going to unscrew this. Interesting. When I was in the store, I started to buy a replacement one of these, but they wanted almost 50 bucks for it. So basically, this is one of those cold weather spigots with the shutoff that's deep in the house. This is probably what I should have replaced it with, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up. And what I did was I bought this fitting here, put some Teflon tape on it. Again, this is just my way of fixing it. Bought a very simple valve, shut the water on, shut the water off, and put the Teflon tape around it. Put this in very tight so it doesn't leak. So the plan is to clean this up, clean inside here as well, and place this over that. and then stick it to the house, and we are done. And just for those of you that don't wonder what this is here, so they actually make these, I forget what they're called. I don't know if they're called frost-free, but basically in the wintertime when you live in a cold weather climate, what ends up happening is the pipe can freeze inside the house. So what you don't want is your water pipe to freeze. So what these do is they actually screw into, so the water is shut off inside the house, if that makes any sense. So once this comes out, it allows you to turn the water on during the summer seasons, and then in the wintertime you screw this back in, and it's supposed to create like a frost-free type of a fixture inside the house. But I'm going to tell you right now, last year I actually had this particular line freeze up on me. So this is probably there's probably a better way to fix this, but I was looking for an easy remedy for the time being, because like I said, all this does is go into the house and it connects to the cold water line coming up from the basement. I didn't even realize I had this much depth in my wall for something this long to even fit in there. Obviously I do. So anyway, it's all good. This will solve my problem. So this tool here is just to clean this up, because anytime you're soldering copper pipe, you want to make sure that your fittings are clean. So one thing I am going to do, since this is not going to be frost free anymore, is I'm going to make sure that I buy a cover to put over this in the winter time, as well as something on the inside underneath the sink to prevent this pipe from freezing. And this is to clean the inside, to get all the burrs, any metal burrs that might be left over, off. And again, all I'm doing here is I'm just cleaning this out so that it's nice and clean, and we'll take the solder. So this piece here that I just bought from the hardware store, you also want to make sure that you rough up the inside edges too, because what that does is it allows the solder to stick better. So I'm going to rough this up a little bit too. So you want to rough up this side, and you want to rough up the inside of this one, which I did already. Okay, next thing you want to take is your soldering paste. This stuff actually helps the solder, which is this stuff here, adhere to the pipe. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get your soldering brush, get your soldering paste. What you want to do is you want to wipe some of this on your brush. You want to put it around the outside edge of this thing here. I'm hoping that when I do this I don't burn the house, because this soldering gets really hot. You want to put some around in here. I probably should get some. So I'm concerned about burning the siding on the house. So I'm going to go run in the house and grab some aluminum foil. And you're probably thinking, aluminum foil? What that does, it just provides a barrier so that I don't burn the house, because the soldering iron gets really hot. Now, this might look crazy to you, but it'll actually protect the siding from burning when I go to solder this. So now what I do is I take my brush and I try to smooth it out as best I can.